So let's continue off from the whole debate over this whole little fiasco of the sign holder, which labels a lot of people. I mean, I can understand if people whore and there's whoremongers, adulterers, adulteresses. I mean, that's understandable because breaking someone's heart when you actually have an affair with someone is kind of different. But porn-loving masturbators, but it just kind of depends, though. I mean, if you have pedophiles, let's not forget the pedophiles. I don't know why you don't have those in there. But there's nothing wrong with pot smoking, in my opinion. I mean, it's actually a natural herb. I mean, it's a natural kind of thing. Tattoo getters, I mean, getting a tattoo on yourself it's basically telling a story. It's expressing yourself. But gangster rappers and rock and rollers, how do they fit into that shit? I don't know. But you see where it just narrows down to is that why is it we always have to, and I'm saying this because in the ways of Christianity, why is it that we think, or you think, that you're always right when it comes to your Lord and Savior, which personally to myself, I do believe in God, but I also draw the line there thinking that there might not be a God, or I'm not sure. Hence me actually also being partially, to that point of being agnostic. But the thing about it is, why should you condemn, label, marginalize, and construe all these religious persecutions to people, telling them that if they don't revert to your ways, that they're in jeopardy of not being able to go into God's kingdom and they're going to end up in hell? That's fucking horseshit. You don't know for a fact, for a possible fact, even a fraction of a fact, if there is a heaven or a hell. Personally, in my opinion, I hope there is at least a heaven or at least a hell, but not on parts of believing in something different. I just do believe that if you do good things for people, help people, be generous, be good, give, something to the poor and the hungry and the homeless. I mean, I believe if you're good enough to help others in need, sacrifice a little bit of your time to help someone, be generous, be curious, be optimistic. Maybe there's a spot in heaven, or and basically, and separate from the fact in hell that, rapists, murderers, pedophiles, all that other shit. Basically, those actions, what they would place upon a human being that would hurt a human being, then that would be the part where I believe that, okay, bye-bye. Nothing that pertains that if you believe something differently than it does in the Bible, then you go to hell. That's just fucking horseshit, because a couple guys wrote their own versions of what they believed in, and they construed it together into a story. Now, I'm not saying this in any way to hurt anyone. Not at all. But I'm just saying that for other people who have a hard time believing what they want to believe, there's nothing wrong with being skeptical about something. There's nothing wrong with trying to believe in something different. Hold on. I have kind of a little bit like head problems. But there's nothing wrong with believing that. And shame on those to label you, whether if you're an atheist or agnostic, if you're Buddhist, even yourself as a Christian who actually, doesn't want to force you just wants to steer away from those who force their religion down those. Shame on those people to either convict you, religiously convict you, persecute you, marginalize you, or generalize you as some sort of sinner. With the exception, though, that yes, adulterers, what was another one? Bitter people, parent haters. I mean, but you gotta understand, there's some certain people that are bitter for reasons, some for no reason, but, but it's just fucking ridiculous. For once in the entire, and I know it's not gonna happen, but I'm just gonna say it because I feel like it, but for once, for any of those religious folks who want to persecute those, keep your fucking beliefs to yourself. I don't say the JC thing anymore because I try to keep away from that, and I don't say the word pride because I'm not really a fan of the word. I usually like to prefer the word humble. I usually just like to say the words of Judas H. Priest, because that's a little bit more appropriate, because, hey, Judas Halford Priest, Rob Halford, the lead singer of Judas Priest. I think it's more appropriate to say that than to say that, because that's just personally to me. But for all those religious people who have persecuted and marginalized people because they are different, Judas H. Priest, you guys are just fucking filth. I'm sorry. But I just don't believe that you should be doing that, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with being, except for those who maliciously use their use of religion to terrorize or to convict or to make people feel guilty about something and make them convert. But I'm just going to say, if you believe personally and you keep the views of your religion to yourself, or just feel like just sharing the idea, or maybe just sharing your belief, just saying that's just what I believe, and so I don't care. But I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with personally believing as a Mormon, or believing as in Hinduism or Buddhism, or being a Muslim. It just depends on how you do that. But I just don't believe that anyone should be convicted or persecuted for this sort of shit. That's my 2 cents on that. I know it's controversial enough to to talk about, and I understand. I could have some flaws in my argument. I'm not going to doubt that, because there are other people who are going to argue these points, and actually I'm open to it, because like I said, there's nothing wrong with having ideas, because the idea can always change. You can always form new ideas and all that. But if people want to argue religion with me, then that's fine. But I'm not here to say that anyone who believes something different is wrong. I'm just saying that those who maliciously use their belief to terrorize those, or to just convict, or just to label someone, or just to scare them into believing in something, is just fucking full of horseshit. That's all the time I have. So thank you for bearing with me through this part 2 video, from the part 1 to part 2. You guys have a wonderful night, and you guys have a safe night, alright? Bye-bye.